kind of its nickname. But basically some of the others, there was a couple other ships that were like this throughout the United States with the military to try to get people ready for, you know, when they had to go out in real situations on the sea. But those ships are no longer there. This ship actually was commissioned back in 1949, but then in 1967 they decommissioned it because they didn't have any way of figuring out how to classify it with all the other ships that were out on part of the naval vessels. So then basically in 1982 it became recommissioned again, and then in 1993 when this whole base closed down, now it's just basically been sitting here with the hope, like I said, that you know, maybe someday they'll make a museum. I've never been on, I've never been in it. I think there's access to it. I see different doors, different things. But it'd be kind of cool if someday we could actually go on it. So that's a little bit about what's going on with Liberty Station, where we met. We're going to walk by an active military base on our way. We're going to go by the harbor. So with that, if you don't know somebody, introduce yourself. I just kind of like, you know, you come out of this hopefully with some sort of experience where you met somebody that, you know.
You just take us out on the boat?
Okay, so we got 14 people, and unless somebody says otherwise, we're still doing good. Try to get off that little freeway here. So this is kind of like the free farmers market, right? You just have to come at night about 11 o'clock.
We belong to the boat people?
The boat people? You know, I don't know. First come, first serve, I guess.
Is there a restaurant here?
The restrooms are over there.
No, restaurant. I thought maybe this is their restaurant.
So I don't know, but it's not really my strong point, but one of the things I've been looking up was there's 3 different yacht clubs that are kind of here in Point Loma area. There's the Silvergate, there's the San Diego, and then there's called the Southwestern. But what I looked up was the Silvergate is 1952 when it all started here. The yacht, I don't know, I've got some addresses here, but I'm hoping some of these trips we can slowly kind of figure out some of the stuff that I'm talking about. Because one of my goals is not only to been here a couple of times, but also to kind of constantly, you know, learn new things and add new things to it. But the Silvergate was 1952, and it's most commonly known for the America's Schooner Cup Regatta, which was established in 1988. And I didn't know it until last night when I was reading about it, but a lot of that stuff with the sailing is really raising money for communities and also for like the Navy and for the Marines and stuff like that. So I didn't realize that was a big part of it. I thought it was just some bunch of rich kids on yachts cruising around. But, you know, I don't know. Like I said, there's a with Shelter Island, as we get over there, you're going to see how it basically helped create some of these coves, which is great for, and one of the reasons why some of these bigger super yachts are here and stuff is because of some of the dredging. Back in the 30s, when Shelter Island, we're going to get over there pretty soon, but kind of want to give you a little history as we were walking around, it kind of curves around. In the 30s, basically, when the military started coming here to Shelter Island, to use it as a base, it wasn't deep enough. So one of the reasons why some of these yachts are able to come here now is because it's one of the only harbors, different places throughout San Diego, where it's deep enough, it's dredged deep enough for some of these huger ships to come in, or super yachts. So, but anyways, you got the Silvergate, you got the San Diego, and the San Diego, I read about that. That started on Ballast Point, went over to Coronado, now it's back over here, so that's one of the oldest ones. 1886 is when that yacht club started. I didn't even know that people had yachts back then. And then the other one was the 1951 was called the Southwestern Yacht Club. And the one that I thought was famous for is there's a race from San Diego to Ensenada that started in 1969. So that's what those 3 different clubs. So anybody wants to research and email me ever about the research I do about, yeah, I know about this yacht club, or I have a person who's part of this yacht club. Maybe we can all go on a yacht someday together.
That'd be awesome.
And then in September, apparently they have like some sort of yacht fest or something like that. What's that?
What's this area? What's where we're at right now?
This is, we went from Liberty Station over to, this is Point Loma. This is kind of Point Loma, yeah. So Point Loma is the whole region up there. It goes all the way to the end of Cabrillo National Monument. So this is all Point. Just give you a little spiel about, we're on Shelter Island. Can we put over here so we get away from it? originally a sandbank, not an island. In 1950 is actually when they put this area called a causeway, which basically connected this causeway. There's a little bit of water here, but the causeway basically connected this man-made island with the rest of Point Loma. So this area is controlled by the Port of San Diego. So there's different rules associated with that. One of the rules is that property cannot be sold and no permanent residence can be built. It's because basically this falls under what's called the Land Governing Public Tithe-ins Act. So I guess because there's maybe no solid foundation, it's all man-made per se. But I'm sure there's different places in the United States, I don't know, that are. But anyways, whatever the case may be, for our benefit. So basically, controlled by the Port of San Diego. And a lot of the buildings are supposed to follow a tiki or a Polynesian style theme. So like one of the places we're going to go later is Humphreys by the Bay. So you'll see kind of the tiki style there. But basically nobody can own any of these buildings. They're all basically controlled by the city of San Diego, or by the Port of San Diego. Just keep moving. I think that was all I wanted to tell you guys. Oh, one of the things they describe as something from nothing, a man-made wonderland of subtropic splendor. I don't know exactly like the Brigantine, where exactly, like where the line is, but that might be residential stuff over there.
Control on it because they want to. It's too valuable.
The rumor that I have is that building is one of the old
That's the
canneries.
thing.
Because you know how it looks like a big huge tuna fish can, but I don't know. It's kind of speculation. I mean, some of my stuff is fact, some of it is just made up to say wow. Last time you came with us, pretty much, yeah. That's right. You talked about enough time, eventually that's going to be an old can.
Maybe doing other stuff. I don't know, but a price hike, maybe that's it. I have you never know.
Right here. This here's a calendar. I think it was around September last year I was here. We just came here because there was a festival, a Portuguese festival that my girlfriend wanted to see. So we just went there, and it was towards the end of it. Yeah, I guess it was crawfish. Anyways, we came across here, and they were doing a halibut tournament. So they had a bunch of people come in with halibut. People would come in all proud, and then some people would come with a huge monstrous fish. But they were weighing all their halibut, and they had like a little happy hour here and stuff. And yeah, they had like a $4 little margarita. It was really nice. It was a Saturday. So I don't see anything on their board in there. It looks like they're having a banquet thing. But they were super nice people. They even got the little bar still set up. So. Before we get over to that side of the street, here was actually built in 1956, and then it was actually condemned in 1990, which.
Whoa, what kind of a unique car?
And then it was actually rebuilt in 1991. But this sign here, you see the Phantom Bistro Bait and Tackle. One of the cool things I thought was cool was apparently in order to keep the beer cold, the kegs are actually stored in the water below the restaurant. So again, I don't know if this is urban legend, but I read this stuff and I pass it on. So, but apparently they have some, good happy hour. There's stories about people catching all sorts of different kind of fish, but it's only about 200 feet from the shore to the end of the pier. But one of these times I would like to do this walk, hike, whatever you want to call it, excursion in the evening. Maybe have a little happy hour, watch the sun coming down. So I don't think Valentine's Day is not going to be too dark. Are we excited about switching the clocks in March like me?
Yes. I just thought
Second
about that
Sunday
last
in March.
night.
Yeah.
I think I woke
Okay,
up
well that being
thinking
said, that's what I have, but I'm thinking the walking, there's a mobile shrine here. Rhonda's, I think she's going to describe her initials or something. I'm a little nervous, but kind of intrigued at the same time. Like I think there's like spokes, like a bike on the back you can see. Yeah. It's kind of the bike.
Well, it's his artwork.
And it's got a lot of themes.
That's it.
See if- right? But
I
then
know, I
don't.
saw it.
So I'm kind of like, you know, it's kind of one of those things where
Interesting. I wanted to buy these solar lights that you glue on the cement and they go off, but I was wondering what kind of glue I need to have.
Probably Gorilla Glue.
That's what I was. Oh,
Yeah, you can sit there anywhere.
oh, okay.
Yeah, Walmart, hardware store.
I know at a friend's house, she had them on the stairs. It was really cool.
I like to finish the poem and then I will. That's a beautiful story.
Well, wait, you said you have a story. Everybody yeah, we'll let you finish it. And hopefully, I came by here and do the meetup things. We just walk and talk about history and things. And I've seen you here a couple times. And
Oh yeah.
at least you have the conditions. You don't have the adverse conditions like the Midwest where you got sleet and
I got rid of
snow
all my
I
stuff.
know.
and all that stuff. So at least whatever you've done here, you're able to go down the freeway with it.
I didn't know what to do with it.
Hey,
How fast can you go?
I go along with the traffic.
Okay, okay. No,
60,
nothing falls off, huh? Okay.
I even take it to,
It's so cute.
I take it to the car wash.
A little crab driving.
Oh, yeah.
You guys surfing.
Yeah, the roast skin looks pretty good for going to the car wash.
Wow.
Really cute.
This has a 8 times strong.
It's like those things that aren't part of the tour that you just fit in.
Yeah.
See these in LA, Bob?
No, not even once.
Mobile shrines?
Yeah, sure. No.
I'm just joking.
Oh yeah, up
He's got a story, but he's waiting till he gets it finished. So
Oh.
I don't even like having a Bible thing on my.
Oh. It's
Got a lot of
particular
blind spots.
inside. Yeah.
No.
On the other side, they have a tribute to the space program. Where we've been talking about space.
Every,
Cameras,
yeah,
cameras everywhere.
every part of this car can be. I think it's a long story behind it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, you look like you spent a lot of time. Thanks for your time. If you're explaining a little, we'll stick around. Okay, so let me just tell you guys 3 or 4 lines, and then we'll keep moving on.
Hardly
But,
ever downtown. Now I know my way around.
It's a 9,000-pound sculpture. The 3 individual fishing poles from a boat on a large tuna fleet out in on the Pacific Ocean. Fishermen who migrated from different nations, including Italy, Portugal, Japan. The 4th one that I read a lot was also about Mexico. The tuna fishing was one of the major industries in San Diego. It was the 3rd largest industry at a time. It was behind the naval and behind aerospace. So then the fishing. But up until the last cannery, which we're not sure if that was a cannery that we saw over there, but the last cannery closed San Diego in 1984. And it was basically the Van Camp Seafood Company, more commonly known as Chicken of the Sea. If you go up on the 805, right close to where the 805 and the 5 merge in Sorrento Valley, there's still a Chicken of the Sea. I don't know if that's one of their headquarter buildings or not. My uncle is a graphic artist, and he did some graphic artist work for them at one point. But that's, but the whole fish industry has done. And one of the things I think things got outfished a little bit, and plus some of the places where they would go in the Mexican waters, there was a lot of stuff going on. And basically, this is Mexican waters, this is United States waters. But just one of those things where I'm sure there's a Ken Kramer special on about the whole tuna industry. The other place that's associated with this would be Little Italy. There's a lot of stories that come out of Little Italy, and in addition to this area associated with the tuna.
My grandfather lived over in Italy, and my father could be one of those guys. He fished
So, like I said, the back of it kind of gives props to the people that were lost at sea, or the pioneers, or the people. And like I said, I'd like to come here more and more in the evening, because one of the pictures I saw was with the sun coming down and kind of looking like, visualizing like being on the back of a boat catching into some big old, but there's some pictures just amazing how big some of these tuna that they were catching back in the day. So, and I don't know if it got outfished, or I think things repopulate.
That was part of it. It got outfished, and then they started going to South America, and then they had problems with going international waters, et cetera, et cetera.
Even like south of the border, Puerto Nuevo, it was a great place. And like 20 years ago, we'd go down there with my relatives, and we'd have lobster dinner, and it was like $10.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, now one of my friends went down there, and him and his wife, and they had for 2 people, and he said it was like $60.
Oh no.
I guess things have changed, you know, $20 up 20 years. But anyways, let's keep walking, and I'm intrigued by the little girl with the bubbles. I don't know the storyline about that.
It says born only in our hearts.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Was it a miscarriage, or maybe they always wanted a daughter? I don't know. We'll have
Rhonda's
to
been
do
one
it.
of my overachievers. When we went to Presidio Park, we were at the top, and we were learning about the Mormon movement that came out, and they were back in the, and then she read about some of these women who were involved with the march, and then found out whatever happened to the other
Yeah, we were looking at
Mormons.
this plaque, and it dedicated to all these women, like 38 women, but only 6 arrived. And I go, what happened to the others? And so I had to research it. And
What happened?
they stopped in Colorado because of the wet winter.
But eventually the story is Brigham Young and everybody, as we know,
Yeah.
made it up to I mean, I don't know how many of the women and the men, but they eventually went up to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, some followed that way, some went back to Iowa.
The ironic part to me, when we go, and we're on this hike instead of that one, but when we go to Presidio Park, you go to the top where Fort Stockton is, or Fort DuPont, which it used to be called. But, and again, I'm not opposed to it, but there's a lot of stuff on the Mormons, and there's a Mormon museum, because they did a lot to promote the area, but they didn't arrive until after the Mexican-American War. But they were so influential after that, that they stuck around and taught a lot of skills that were used in Old Town after the war, that they really got a lot of props. But they also did one of the largest walks in infantry, you know, from Iowa Bluffs. So,
I think
anyways,
is
I
the
feel like now we're at
location
Presidio
of
Park.
the museum about the Mormon Battalion up by San Pasquale or something up in that area?
Up by Mule
Yeah.
Hill.
I'm not sure. I just know that there's a museum dedicated
Well, anyways,
by
next time
the
we
animal
do that one,
safari park.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll have to stop in there.
It's San Diego city limits, but
Yeah.
Japanese, and then one side is English and one side is Japanese. So it says Bell of Friendship on it. The story about the girl in red shoes, her name was Kimmy. There's different versions of it, but the story that I read about was about the girl named Kimmy, who was an orphan in Japan in the 1920s, and the American parents wanted to adopt her and bring her back to the United States. But they weren't able to bring her back because she had tuberculosis, so they weren't able to bring her here. But so when they redid this and stuff like that, from 1958, it was deteriorated. So in 2009, 2010 time frame, that's when basically they added Kimmy, the girl in red shoes. So that's what we do. No, but I'm just saying. So you're welcome to walk around for a few minutes, then we're going to go in there, and then we're going to hit it. So, thank you. I mean, there's so much you can read nowadays. It's amazing how you can just Google something. But
They should have a little plaque.
I'm the type of person that's like, if somebody,
You can read all those, and it says that right underneath it.
and there's a sign there where Faye is that
Oh,
has
it
some more
tells
information.
about it? Oh, okay.
I want to see the sign, and I've never seen it where it says Bell of Friendship on it. Right. Nice to have somebody who has architectural abilities here. Looking at the pose.
you can see it.
Okay, well now you all see it and I don't see it. I just feel bad. Alright, so of course I have 5 things you didn't know about Humphreys, okay? So, this opened in 1982. It was in the first time. Basically, the season goes from June to October. But they've had Tony Bennett here, they've had the Beach Boys here, Bill Maher, UB40. There's a band called America, which is, I don't know, I guess you have to Google America. There's a lot of songs you're like, oh, I know that song, oh, I know that song. The Sandman, all these different songs. they played here over 23 times, so they played here the most of any group. America. There's the chef that is in this restaurant here. Apparently, at one time had cooked for Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, and for a prince in Saudi Arabia, and for a king of Jordan. So somebody who apparently tastes his food before he tastes the other. John Stamos. Oh, more birds?
Yeah. Nice. Up there on the fence. Looks like it.
Is it
No, you're right, it's not. Oh, it's a parakeet or something.
parakeet? Okay. Well, we'll see how Tia survives if there's any
Yeah,
screaming,
we hope,
screaming in a
hopefully
minute.
it doesn't attack her.
So the thing that I mean, this is totally brand new to me since I've been here. It's been a few months, so I don't know how long this has been here with the whole stage and everything. Pretty cool. But there's this award-winning documentary that I haven't watched it yet, but I always, every time I read this, I want to go back. In 2013, they did a documentary that was filmed partially in here, and it's called 20 Feet from Stardom. And basically what it was it represent all the backup singers who were so close to becoming. You saw that?
Yeah, I
In two-
went to Cinema Society.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was really good.
So it basically follows the lives of backup singers for famous artists. So somebody who was 20 feet from stardom. So anyways, this is again the little San Diego magazine where you can educate yourself real quick. Tia, how'd that work out for you?
I remember that.
You know, yeah, I did it for like 13 years. And pictures after movies.
I didn't have that.
Have you ever done it?
The stage was totally different too, right? They had a stage.
I use it with Joan.
But when I wonder if they lowered the stage so the people in the kayak can't see like we used to be able to see. So,
Yeah.
anyways. But yeah, there's usually
What a great
chairs
place
in
to
here.
stay
They
if
have
you're
different
visiting
events
San
and stuff
Diego.
like
This is where you want to be.
I kind of, one time when they actually had a stage, people could go on stage or backstage, like, oh, I got backstage passes. Oh, cool. So, anyways, that's what we got. We're going to kind of use our library voices. You guys, we're going to keep kind of quiet as we walk through here. But we're going to walk through, there's a walkway we can walk right through the complex, get out to the other side. Be a little warmer. I didn't know they did either, but you just back to the classes for you guys. You have to have pass the backstage. We're just joking. Yeah. So, okay, so we're gonna go through here, you guys. Try to not disturb anybody. Have you ever